Hello everyone, this is Phoenix from Maine, and this is my spoiler review of Black Panther. I already released a spoiler-free review where I just told you whether I liked the movie or not, said a couple of points about it, but gave no plot points. So now this is a spoiler review, so we're going to get down into the movie. So I'm going to go over the characters and tell you what I thought about the actors. But as I said in the other video, in case you didn't see it, the movie has great direction, it's great writing, it has great cinematography, has great choreography, it has great costumes. It's a very well done movie, which I gave an A+. But there are things I liked about it and things I didn't like about it. The basics of the storyline is simple. You know, Black Panther's father got killed in Captain America Civil War, and now he has to become the king. But first, there are people that want to challenge him for that, and that's when we meet M'Baku, who in the comic book is called Man-Ape, but we know that's a little racist. They call them black people apes. So they just call him M'Baku, which is his comic book real name. And he challenges T'Challa, and I mean, I knew T'Challa was going to win, but this is how good the movie is. I was all in it. I was like, oh shit, is he gonna lose? Is he gonna go over the cliff? Like, in my mind, I'm going, you know he's going to win. But that's how exciting things got. It was a very, very good fight. And T'Challa won. This is a spoiler. And this also led to, as the king, you know, there's some, I don't want to give away too much of the movie. I know it's a spoiler, but I don't want to give away too much of the movie. But it sends him on some adventures, going after Claw, Michael B. Jordan's character, Killmonger, showing how he's also the prince, and how he was kept out of Wakanda because of a family secret. And, you know, left to his own devices, he just became a criminal and a murderer. And he comes back for the throne, which he's entitled to, and he kicks T'Challa's ass. And he becomes the new king of Wakanda, except he wants to be a warmonger and just basically take over the world. So this causes a great divide in Wakanda between the people who know that it's wrong, like the Dora Milaje, and then there's Okoye, which is, in the comic books, he's Black Panther's best friend, who gets upset because Black Panther didn't bring back Claw, who killed his father. Now, he killed Okoye's father, not T'Challa, because they changed the storyline around. So he actually becomes loyal to Killmonger, because Killmonger actually does kill Claw and bring him back to Wakanda. So the male warriors are side with Killmonger, and the female warriors eventually side with T'Challa, who everybody thought was dead, but he comes back as the Black Panther, stronger than ever. And so there's a great divide, and then it's pretty much Wakanda goes to war. So, and that's part of what I didn't like. So I'm gonna go over the different characters and the different actors, and I want to give a shout out to Ruthie Carter, who did the costume designer. I posted her picture on my Facebook page because she did such an amazing job on the movie. And now I'm going to go through the list of characters. Chadwick Boseman played T'Challa, the Black Panther. He's good as his character. However, there were parts of the movie where I felt like he looked weak, like he needed a hamburger or something. Like, you know, Michael B. Jordan looked strong and muscular and ready to fight, but there was sort of like a sadness in Chadwick Boseman's eyes that came off a little weak and passive to me, and I don't like that. But for the most part, especially when he was in his Black Panther costume, he he did an amazing job as literally Black Panther. There was just some T'Challa scenes that I really wasn't feeling. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. He was the one I was most afraid of because I've seen him on All My Children, in different movies. I know he was on The Wire, but I didn't like The Wire, so I didn't watch The Wire. And, you know, I've never seen him play a bad guy, so being somebody like Killmonger, I was afraid that he would do a bad job because in the trailer, I wasn't really feeling what I was seeing. So Michael B. Jordan actually did a terrific job as Killmonger, so much so that I was mad that they waited so long to introduce him in the movie. The first 25% of the movie, the main villain is Claw. And so you don't get to see a lot of Michael B. Jordan's character. And I really wish I got to see him from the very beginning because I would have loved to see some more developing screen time. He's a fully developed character, but I felt like I wish I got maybe one more action sequence out of him because I really enjoyed that character. Lupita Nyong'o is Nakia. She did a good job. I'm not a big fan of Nakia because I didn't really feel like her and Chadwick established a good relationship. There were sparks and moments where they really looked like they were a good couple. I love Lupita when she smiles. So there were scenes where she smiled or when everybody thought he was dead. You know, I love Lupita in those scenes because she showed real emotion. But because her character was really standoffish and wanting to be outside of Wakanda, being a spy, I didn't really feel like the romance was developed enough. I could have had 3 or 4 scenes added showing them discussing their relationship, discussing their feelings, maybe a flashback of why she left and broke up with him, you know. But I didn't feel like the script gave a lot of time to develop them as a couple. Not to say that they couldn't be a couple or that in the future movies, you know, that they could change my mind. Because I'm a comic book fan and he ends up marrying Storm and Nakia is not Storm. So as a fanboy, you know, I'm like, you know, they're cute, but I really want them to bring Storm in this movie. So, like, I want Storm in the movie. Disney's about to buy Fox. They'll have the rights to Storm. Storm and Black Panther can have a romance because him and Nakia never technically... They kind of got together, but they kind of didn't. Like I said, it wasn't really developed enough for me. Danny Guerrero. Some of these last names, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to butcher them because I don't know how to pronounce them. But she played Okoye, and she was one of the best things in the movie. She plays Michonne in The Walking Dead. And in this, she had so many scenes where she didn't talk, and she gave looks where she gave full sentences. And I have like several friends where we can talk with our eyes, and I felt that's what I was feeling for her when I have friends where we can have conversations by just giving each other looks, and we're having whole conversations and not saying a word. And I love that about her. She does talk, but also her amazing fight scenes. Nakia was okay, but it's really Okoye that steals the show. She was a bad bitch. Now, I actually would have been much more interested in a Okoye and T'Challa love affair versus, because I think that's the woman for him. That's a bad bitch, and she's loyal as fuck. So, you know, I think she would have been the perfect woman for T'Challa. And then we've got Martin Freeman as Everett K. Ross. Now, in these superhero movies, we're usually the Token, and we're usually hoping for that one scene where the Token can stand out. And whether it's War Machine, Falcon, Cyborg, Black Panther, you know, they all get like one scene where they get to shine, but the movie focuses on white heroes. If you look at the Marvel Universe or the DC Universe, it's usually like 80% white. So much so that there are teams that are basically just all white, that they've got to race swap characters just to put some diversity in the film or the TV show, because so many characters are white. And, you know, what these studios care about is green. They know that they can fill more seats with diversity because they have plenty of white characters. But once they add diverse characters, Asian, Black, Latino, they know those audiences now have a stake in the game, and they want to see themselves represented. And so white people want to be represented too. They're usually always represented, but that's what Everett K. Ross provided in this movie. He was the token white guy who had his heroic moment in the film, and white people will probably feel how we usually feel in the movie, where we have our token character in the movie, and then we're just happy that they had their moment. And he has an amazing moment in this film, and he did a good job. But yeah, they had the token white guy in there. So Daniel Kaluuya, who was in Get Out, I probably butchered his name too. He played W'Kabi, and in the comic book, he is Black Panther's best friend in general. And in this movie, what caught me off guard is that when Killmonger kills Claw, who killed W'Kabi's father, he becomes 100% loyal to Killmonger and pretty much just helps him, you know, steal Wakanda. And so much so that Wakanda ended up going to war because of pretty much W'Kabi. Because Killmonger may have become king, but they weren't necessarily 100% loyal to him, especially when he's talked about sending weapons outside of Wakanda and world domination. So, he's a great actor, so he did a good job with his character and with what he had, but I was just so sad to see his betrayal. Letitia Wright is Shuri. Never heard of her. I think she's new. Shuri in the comic books eventually becomes Black Panther, so there is a spin-off potential. She was very good in the movie. She had a lot of light and exuberance and fun, and I really enjoyed Shuri in this movie because, I mean, she's a genius. I know a lot of girls that are going to be cool, want to be Shuri for cosplay and for Halloween, and I think a lot of girls, little girls especially, will see themselves represented in Shuri. Winston Duke played M'Baku. Now, in the comic book, M'Baku's name is Man-Ape, but we know calling black people apes, H&M, or gorillas, is a no-no. So, you know, they tiptoe lightly around the fact that his character is Man-Ape. They mentioned that something about gorilla in the film. I can't remember the line. But he actually turned out to be a really good character. I did not expect that. He was the unexpected, fun character in the film. T'Challa defeated him in the beginning of the film, but he ended up saving T'Challa's life. And instead of taking the flower that gives Black Panther his powers, he actually repaid his debt to T'Challa for not killing him and allowed him to take the flower. And even though he said that he wasn't going to help out T'Challa get back Wakanda, we all knew he was. So, I mean, just how he looked, his body, it's like he could have been Luke Cage. So, I think we'll be seeing him again. He's a great character. Please don't call him Man-Ape. But I really enjoyed him in that movie, and I really want to see more of that character in the whole gorilla, community or village that they have. Let me see. We also have Angela Bassett as Queen Ramonda. She barely had any scenes, but she's Angela Bassett, so whatever scenes she got, she did a good job in. Forrest Whitaker as Zuri. He didn't have a whole lot of scenes, but but he worked what he had. Andy Serkis as Ulysses Claw. Now, Andy Serkis as Ulysses Claw, for the first time, he had a lot more scenes, so he was very funny. The actor did a great job as Claw, and I loved all of his scenes. He did a great. Claw is Black Panther's nemesis. In the cartoon, anytime you've seen Black Panther in a cartoon, you've always seen him go up against Claw. Whether it's an Avengers cartoon or a Fantastic Four cartoon, the first episode you see Black Panther, you also see Claw. And because Killmonger is like his second greatest villain, but Claw is the big villain because he actually has powers. And in this, he didn't turn into a sonic mutant energy being, but he did have the gun, but he just didn't turn into an energy being that could create other energy beings, which would have actually been an amazing special effects for the film. So, and I'm gonna give an honorable mention to Florence Kasumba as Ayo, because she had hardly any lines, but people will remember her in Civil War where she says, "Move," or "Be moved," or "I'll move you," or some shit like that. She's the Black Widow. And so she was in it, and once again, like Denai, she talked a lot with her eyes and had complete sentences in that regard. So I liked a lot about Black Panther. Now, what I didn't like about Black Panther is, even though Wakanda is fictional, seeing the black folks turn against each other was disheartening in a movie that's so pro-black. And part of me couldn't reconcile Wakanda opening up to the nation and letting the world know about all of their great technology, all of their vibranium, and enhanced techniques, because I know in the real world, the moment that happened, Wakanda would be in World War III with people trying to desperately steal from them and come after them. And so I wouldn't have wanted them. I would have did a different ending and not just revealing that Wakanda is the most advanced technological nation in the world. Because I know in the real world, that was signal nuclear bombs and some more stuff would be directed right at Wakanda, because they touched on a little bit about colonialism. So you can see people trying to colonize Wakanda. You would see people trying to take control of Wakanda. And I think that being a undercover society really helped them maintain peace. And I really felt the 5 different villages or cities or whatever they were in the movie, that I would have loved to see them all come together, because M'Baku said to Black Panther, "I'm not helping you because your people haven't been here or shared any vibranium or for generations." So I would have loved to see them as a group come together so that when and if this war came to them, they would all be united. So it was very sad to see the men versus the women, and just like, it was bittersweet battle, and essentially a fight to let white folks come in. that's what it kind of boiled down to, wanting to share Wakanda with the world. But we all know in the real world how destructive this would be. And I don't feel like in the writing, Wakanda is ready for something like that. Which could be the second movie, dealing with the world knowing about them. We'll see what happens in Avengers Infinity War. We saw Captain America came to Wakanda. We know Winter Soldier is in Wakanda. And, we'll see what happens. The last thing I'll say that I did not like about Black Panther is there's a mandate in all superhero movies that somebody has to die or that the villain has to die. And usually a hero dies, and I guess Zuri, Forrest Whitaker character dying was that. But they killed Claw, Black Panther's #1 villain. I don't know if somehow in the storyline or with Thanos, Claw gets resurrected, because Thanos does have the stone that causes resurrection, that causes him to become the comic book Claw. I don't know. But they killed Killmonger too. I thought they were going to jail Killmonger. I thought that Killmonger may have threw himself off a cliff and then you don't know if he's dead or alive and he comes back at a later date. But Killmonger committed suicide because he'd rather be dead than been locked up. And I'm like, I really hope the fact that he took that Black Panther flower that have healing properties is their get out of jail free card that allows him to come back to life. That he still has that in his system, that somehow he heals because of that and he's able to come back from the dead. But Killmonger dying and Claw dying to me was unnecessary, especially if they bring them back. Because we all know in every superhero movie that somebody always has to die. And even in the Justice League movie, the Zack Snyder cut that everybody wanted to see so bad, in it, Cyborg is killed. Really? I would have absolutely hated Justice League if the movie ended with Cyborg dying and then comes back later in his own movie. So I felt like these were unnecessary deaths because now we have to get the explanations of how they come back. So being a comic book movie, just because they died doesn't mean they'll stay dead. But the fact that they didn't think of some other way to kill them or not kill them, I would have loved to seen Killmonger buried, and then one of the after credit scenes would be his hand coming out of the ground or the water or whatever. That would have made my day, because Michael B. Jordan did such a good job that I know they're not going to let him stay dead. And because so many people are praising him as Killmonger, they definitely ain't going to keep him dead. So the fact that they killed him is annoying as hell. But, you know, Coulson died in the Avengers movie and he's been alive ever since. So, you know, that's just how these comic book movies go. And those are the really only bad things I have to say about the movie. There were some Chadwick Boseman scenes I wasn't fond of. There were the fact that they didn't really give him and Nakia time to really develop a romance that we could really feel for. I didn't like that. And they killed the villains, you know, which could have been used at a later date. Black Panther's two biggest villains got killed. That is a problem. Kill one, okay, that's what happens in movies, but kill both, really. Really, you killed both. So, that's it. And Black Panther has 2 after credit scenes if you want to stay and look at them. So, hell, I don't remember. I know one scene was showing Winter Soldier. The one at the very end that we had to wait the longest for was the Winter Soldier scene, which was just a very short scene of him and Shuri. And there was another after credit scene. I can't even remember what it was. But, you know, I will be watching Infinity War in a few months and would love to see Black Panther that's where he'll be next, and see what Thanos brings to this Infinity War and how it affects Wakanda, because obviously there is war in Wakanda based on the trailers. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this spoiler video. I did give this movie an A+, and I highly recommend it. So thanks for watching, and I've got more videos coming.